Let's move on to the last topic of the first module, that is data warehouse architecture. This presentation will cover how to design and construct a data warehouse and a three-tier data warehouse architecture. And based on the three-tier data warehouse architecture, we need to know some more points, that are backend tools and utilities for data warehouses, and what you mean by metadata repository, and we will discuss different types of warehouse servers for OLAP processing. So by this session, I will cover how to design and construct a data warehouse. Steps for the design and construction of data warehouse. First, we have to present a business analysis framework for data warehouse design. Then we can go for step-by-step procedure of the design process. So first we will see what is a business analysis framework. The advantages of constructing a data warehouse include competitive advantage, productivity, customer relationship management, cost reduction, etc. To design an effective data warehouse, we need to understand and analyze business needs, and we have to construct a suitable business analysis framework for that particular business problem. So first we have to analyze business needs, and based on the needs we have to construct a data warehouse. The design of a data warehouse must consider 4 different views, including top-down view, data source view, data warehouse view, and business query view. We will discuss in detail about these views in the coming slides. The top-down view allows the selection of the relevant information necessary for the data warehouse. We have to select relevant information that is going to be stored inside a data warehouse. This information matches the current and future business needs. Next, we have to view in terms of data source. We have to expose the information being captured, stored, and managed by operational systems. This information may be documented at various levels of detail and accuracy, from individual data source tables to integrated data source tables. And these data sources are often modeled by traditional data modeling techniques such as ER model or CASE, that is computer-aided software engineering tools. Okay, so we have to expose the information that are being to be captured, stored, and managed by the system. So that is the data source view. Next one is data warehouse view. We have to include fact tables and dimension tables, and we have to decide what fact tables it should contain and what are the different dimensions we have to store. It represents the information that is stored inside the data warehouse, including pre-calculated totals and counts, as well as information regarding the source, date, and time of origin. These are used to provide historical context. Finally, we have to view in terms of business query. Okay, that is the viewpoint of the end user. It is the perspective of data in the data warehouse from the viewpoint of the end user. Okay, so these are the different views we have to consider before we are going to design a data warehouse. So for building and using a data warehouse, we require some skills, that are business skills, technology skills, and program management skills. So designing and building a data warehouse is a complex task, and it may take years to build, and we require business skills, technology skills, as well as program management skills. We will see data warehouse design process. We can construct a data warehouse using top-down approach, or we can use bottom-up approach, or we can go for a combined approach. The top-down approach starts with the overall design and planning. This is done where the technology is mature and well known, and where the business problems must be solved are clear and well understood. If all these requirements are satisfied, we can go for the top-down approach. Next one is bottom-up approach. It will start with experiments and prototypes. This is useful in the early stage of business modeling and technology development. It allows an organization to move forward at considerably less expense and to evaluate the benefits of the technology before making significant commitments. So when the technology is not mature and the business problem is not clear, we can go for the bottom-up approach. In the combined approach, an organization can exploit the planned and strategic nature of the top-down approach while retaining the rapid implementation and opportunistic application of the bottom-up approach. So we can use combined approach that will compensate with the disadvantages of top-down approach as well as the bottom-up approach. From the software engineering point of view, the design and construction of a data warehouse may consist of several steps like planning, requirement study, problem analysis, warehouse design, data integration and testing, and finally the deployment of the particular data warehouse. Large software systems can be developed using two methodologies. One is the waterfall method, or we can use spiral method. You may be studied along with the software engineering. These models may be familiar to you, but when we are studying in terms of data warehouse design. The waterfall method performs a structured and systematic analysis at each step before proceeding to the next, which is like a waterfall, falling from one step to the next. So we are following if we are following waterfall model, it will perform a structured and systematic analysis at each step. Okay, if we are using spiral model, it involves the rapid generation of increasingly functional systems with short intervals between successive releases. So waterfall model is suitable for top-down approach and spiral model is suitable for bottom-up approach. We have seen several approaches can be used to design a data warehouse, and we have to consider certain views before designing starts. And in general, the data warehouse design process consists of 4 steps. That are, first one is choose a business process to model. We have to choose a business process, that is, a subject should be there before we are going to build a data warehouse. For example, orders, invoices, shipments, inventory, account administration, sales, or the general ledger. We have already seen a data warehouse for sales. Okay. If the business process is organizational and involves multiple complex object collections, we can go for a data warehouse model because the scope is organizational or enterprise-wide. So we can go for a complex model, that is a data warehouse model. But if the process is departmental and focuses on the analysis of one kind of business process, we can go for a data mart model, which will be simpler than a data warehouse model. So I hope you remember the difference between a data warehouse and a data mart. Okay, based on that, we can decide which one we have to model. So second one is choose the grain of the business process. Grain means the grain is the fundamental atomic level of data to be represented in the fact table for this purpose. Okay, what should be represented in a fact table? That should be determined. For example, individual transactions, individual daily snapshots, and so on. We have to select the grain of the business process. Next step is to choose the dimensions that will apply to each fact table record. We have to choose what are the required dimensions we have to represent in a particular data warehouse design. Typical dimensions are time, item, customer, supplier, warehouse, transaction type, and status, etc. Fourth step is to choose the measures that will populate each fact table record. we have to select the measures that has to be represented in a fact table. Typical measures are numeric additive quantities like dollar sold and unit sold. We have seen an example for dollar sold or the total sales happened in a particular country, particular time period and for a particular item. After designing a data warehouse, we have to implement it, then we have to deploy it, and we have to maintain the data warehouse. So that are discussed here. The goals of an initial data warehouse implementation should be specific, achievable, and measurable. Once a data warehouse is designed and constructed, the initial deployment of the warehouse includes initial installation, rollout planning, training, and orientation. Then platform upgrades and maintenance must also be considered. Data warehouse should be administered by a data warehouse administration or a data warehouse administrator like a database administration, which include data refreshment, data source synchronization, planning for disaster recovery, managing access control and security, managing data growth, managing database performance, and data warehouse enhancement and extension. And we have to see the scope management, which include controlling the number and range of queries, dimensions and reports, limiting the size of the data warehouse, or limiting the schedule, budget or resources. We can use several data warehouse design tools for these purposes. We can use data warehouse development tools as well as planning and analysis tools. Data warehouse development tools provide functions to define and edit metadata repository contents such as schema, scripts or roles. And it will help to answer queries, output reports and ship metadata to and from relational database system catalogs. Then planning and analysis tools will study the impact of schema changes and of refresh performance when changing refresh rates or time windows. So with the help of these tools, we can design and implement a data warehouse in an effective manner.